I'm Eric Engelbert with Orange County Real Estate, and today we're going to recap the Orange County real estate market. I get my data from Mike Simonson at Altos Research, from Rob Hahn at Notorious ROB, from Logan Matashami at Housing Wire, and also our local MLS. And also this data is changing all the time, so in 5 minutes it might be a little bit different. I'm sure there's an agent out there right now doing a price reduction or switching a property from pending to sold. So the data is just always changing here. So it's an overview. So let's jump right into it. And first of all, we're going to look at the current active listings in Orange County. These include single family homes, townhomes, condos, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. Those are all under the residential umbrella. So first of all, we have a little uptick in inventory, which is 3,972. That uptick is good because we still need inventory. It's also still very much under what we were in 2019. The inventory in the entire United States has also ticked up quite a bit to 491,000. So that number, 491,000, may seem like a lot. Year over year, it's 30% higher than we were last year, but last year was this crazy market where people were buying everything immediately. So we go back to 2019 before the pandemic, and we're 50% less than what we were in 2019. So we still have an inventory problem. It's going up, which is good, but we still have an inventory problem. When we talk about supply and demand, the fact that we have lack of supply is probably gonna keep prices steady. Let's go to the next line, and that is current active under contract and pending properties. These are properties that have all accepted an offer and working their way to the finish line, hopefully closing. That's 2,067. So that number is down a little bit from a couple weeks ago. We just had this long 4th of July weekend. There was a little bit of less activity all around the country, although inventory did tick up. So the next line is days on market. That has gone up quite a bit to 39 days on market. Let's also look at the next line down, which is the outlier days on market. Those are homes priced above 2.5 million, and that's 57 days on market. So I just wanted to point this out, that the luxury end days on market has slowed down quite a bit, and those days on market are higher, which is causing the total days on market to be high. And the reason I'm saying this is because, for example, right now in Costa Mesa, the median days on market for condos is 7 days. So homes priced under $1 million, there's still lots of demand and lots of activity on those properties, which is normal. There's just more people obviously that can afford that price point. So looking at homes over the weekend, it was a holiday week, but there were still lots of people out looking at homes that were priced under $1 million and condos in the 600 to 700 range. So I know that there's still a lot of demand there, a lot of activity there. And like I said, those days on market are much less. So this 39 is being brought up by the luxury end, which has slowed down considerably. The next line down is the sold price versus the list price. That has gone down a little bit, but homes are still selling over the list price. So that's another sign of good demand, to 1.6% higher. Next line down is immediate sales, homes that sold within the first 2 days. That's gone down in Orange County to 3.5%, and it's gone up slightly in the entire US to 21%. It's just like 2 percentage points up, hardly any change there. Price reductions in Orange County has gone down. It's at 12%, and price reductions in the entire US has gone up slightly to 31%. And the 30-year fixed rate has gone down a little bit to 5.75%. All right, so that's all the data that we have. So trying to decipher what that means is a very difficult thing. There's so many variables out there. It's really difficult to predict what's going to happen. So we're just trying to keep an eye on any trends that's going on. So one thing that I think of with all the inventory increases, that a lot of sellers are having fear of missing out. They're afraid that they're missing the peak, so they're kind of rushing to get their houses on the market. So I think that has to do with some of our increased inventory, but also this time of year, if we look at the graphs year over year, the last 12 years, there's always a little bit of increase in inventory at this time. So those are two things explaining this increase hike in inventory. Another thing that's to keep an eye on is appreciation levels. Now, appreciation levels aren't going to be as high as they were the last 36 months. Obviously, they were extremely high record levels. And now with inventory going up, that's going to probably mute the amount of appreciation that we get over the next 12 months to 24 months. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Now, like I said, sellers are having fear of missing out. They think that they missed the peak. But I would say in Orange County, you haven't quite missed the peak yet. And buyers are having fear of buying at the peak. And I would say that there's still a lot of demand here in Orange County. So buyers probably, they're not going to get the appreciation that we had in the last 36 months, but they're still going to have some appreciation or maybe even leveling off over the next 2 to 3 years. But I feel like if you are a buyer in the market and you're planning on living in your home for 10 years or more, then you're in good shape. The amount of time that people spend in their homes when they buy a home in this country has risen to 10 years. It used to be, maybe 30 years ago, it was at 5 years. So it's gone up a lot. And there's also lots of factors why that's the case. And we can talk about that in a different episode. So let's just keep an eye on all these trends. Again, those days on market, that's an interesting trend. We got to keep an eye on that, see what happens. If you are interested in data specifically for your zip code or your neighborhood, I can supply that to you. It's interesting because Costa Mesa condos is only 7 days on market. That's an interesting data point. And then single family homes in Anaheim, it's 51 days. I was going to use that as an outlier this week, but I didn't because the luxury was so kind of gleaming in my face as being an outlier. But there's little pockets around the county that have interesting data points. Of course, Cypress, I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. They have such low inventory there. The days on market's in single digits pretty much always for the last 36 months. So we'll just keep an eye on all these data points and see what happens in the future. And again, if you want something specifically for a zip code or neighborhood, just send me a message or give us a call and I will give you that data. All right, have a great week. Thank you.